And yeah, I think we're live. I'll just get a confirmation. Everybody who's watching, please let us know if you can hear us, if everything's all right. Please let us know that we're all live. Yeah, looks like it's all right. Yeah, it is. And I think we're live and we have a lot of people online. And we'll just wait a couple of minutes to get everybody online. So, hi everyone, welcome to this Ask Me Anything session. It's been some time since we've done this. Hope you're all prepped up. And yeah, do let us know in the comments how you've been, how everything is going, what you've been up to. And before we even start, just would like to tell everybody, do like this video so that other people can find out about it. Hit the subscribe button so that next time we do something like this, you're the first to get a notification. So yeah, everyone, just do the basic stuff and then we'll go on to the major part. So I will just wait like a couple of minutes more so that more people can just come in. Right? Cool. So yeah. Otherwise, what have you been up to, everybody? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. What have you been doing? It's been some time since we've been live. What have you been up to? What are you preparing for? Right? Do tell us all of those things. Okay. All right. I think we'll wait another minute and then we'll get started.
Yeah, warm welcome to everybody. Very, very warm welcome to you from all of us at Team Edyst. Really looking forward. Aneeq Devang and me. As Aneeq said, we'll just start in a moment. A lot of people have pre-subscribed to this, a lot of student communities. So we'll just wait for them to just onboard and just a moment, and then we will start off. Very, very exciting. And this session is all about you, and we have some very interesting things lined up. It's all about you, your career, and a lot of developments on the industry side. What's happening, we'd like to share it with you. And please let your friends know that there's something interesting happening. And the big difference between being live and watching the recording is that you can ask any question which you want. And we have a fantastic panel here who's all about mentoring, training industry. So yeah, make use of the live session. So we'll try our level best to answer as many questions as we can. And this is something I wanted to share. Last time we had so many questions that we could only cover a few. And we tried our level best to answer those questions post the session. All you have to do is just write to team@edyst.com. And we are always there. And we are sure that together we can make a good team and help you get placed. So, yes.
So yeah, we do have people joining in. So yeah, I think we can start. So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So thank you very much. A very, very warm, formal welcome to you. And first things first, I hope you and your families and your loved ones are all doing well and safe. That's the most important thing at this point of time. I hope you're all covered in terms of vaccination, social distancing, and we are all hoping that you people do not get into any kind of adventures, because the more safer you are, you're better prepared to be placed into companies. All right. So with that, a quick introduction. My name is Vasu. I am the co-founder along with Aneeq, which we run this very, very community-driven learning platform, career platform called Edyst. And we have very, very privileged to have Devang with us today. And Devang comes with a lot of experience from the industry background. And we're going to very quickly introduce Devang also to you. Very quickly, the entire format of this session today is in three parts. Number one, we're going to very quickly talk to you about what's this bootcamp which we're talking about today. The full stack web development bootcamp is what is the session one. Session two is all about what is it that you're going to learn, what are these technologies, what are these buzzwords going around, and how do you equip yourself with the right kind of skills and competencies which can help you get a job. So the first part is all about the platform, the program, the fee structure, and so on and so forth. It'll all be taken care by Aneeq, and Devang will talk a lot more about the industry perspective. What is the industry interviewer looking for? What kind of companies are hiring? What do they ask in the actual interviews, and so on and so forth. And the last session, the most interesting session, is the Q&A. So once we finish the first two parts, we'll open up the question and answers for all of you to ask, and we will try our level best to answer as many questions as we can. Anything to do with the course, curriculum, why it is, who are you, Vasu? What do you think, Anik, and you know what you're doing, and so on and so forth, we'll answer. Anything to do with the specific tools, technologies, tech stack, company perspective, and all that will be done by Devan. Right? With that, let's jump start. And as I said, this is all about you, about your career, your aspirations. So be active on the comments part and ask any question which you want, but we'll try our level best to answer as much we can in the relevant section. If it's all about the product and it's all about the platform, Anik will try to answer, and we'll start off. Anik, the first questions first.
Yeah.
There are 100. Uh, uh, if you type full stack development and use the word bootcamp, there are about 100 such online learning platforms. What is the need for Edyst to launch this very, very specialized course, and what's unique about this?
Right. So, first of all, welcome everybody. And just to let everybody know, we've launched a full stack web development course. We've been doing full stack web development since a long time, but we've launched a very unique course. The details of that you can check in the description below. We have the full link of that. And what's very unique about this course is, number one, we are targeting specifically people who are not in college. So people who have graduated or have a graduation certificate in hand, or basically 2021 and before, 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2018 graduates. And what we're helping them do is that you may have got a placement, you may not have got a placement. We want to help you learn a skill and only charge you if you get a job. If you don't get a job, then we don't want to really charge you for that. So this is the thing about this full stack web development. So yes, what's so different about our platform? Number one, we are the only platform in India which will actually give you live mentor support. That is, whenever you're stuck on any problem, you'll actually have students out there, or other mentors out there to actually help you out. Number two, the amount of products and projects that we are actually going to help you in this course is great. Brilliant stack that you're going to learn from as well. So you're going to get like a huge, you learn all of the stack, and I think Devang will talk about that. But it's a completely modern stack which you'll learn as well, and very, very hands-on. So when I talk about a course, any course that you pick up, I always advise students one thing: it's not just about the content, right? Content you'll get anywhere, and the major thing is you can keep watching a lot of things, but you'll not learn. You need to watch, you need to interact with the right instructors, and you need to go and practice. So on Edyst, we have more than 600 practice questions related just to full stack web development. On top of that, another 300 to data structures and algorithms, more than 1,000 coding questions that students will complete at the end of it, while they get to interact with our expert instructors, one of them being Devang as well. So, like really expert instructors who've been there, who interview candidates, so they know exactly what candidates need. So that's in a very small way what's special about this course.
So, Anik, is it a fair statement to make so that our audience on the call, on the webinar, understand this? So the sole purpose of this bootcamp is learn those most relevant tech skills which are needed today. End of the course is what you start attending interviews for. So it's all about the focus of a job, and hence you're telling that people who have already 2021 or below are the ones who we should be looking at
Yes.
this course.
Yes.
Okay. So the second follow-up question on that, Anik, most of the people, and we would love you to explain this. If somebody goes again and says full stack development, we see a lot of different course structures. Some ones run for 8 months, some runs for a year, some runs for a 30-day course. And today morning we had a person who said, "Sir, that's a 25-day course here in my city. Why are you taking 2.5 months?" and so on and so forth. So what's the course structure about, and why is it structured in the way it is?
Got it. So I'll just actually show you the screen itself where we can get this course. So 1 second, I'll just bring that up. And for all of you who want to check this out, this is there in the on the Edyst platform. So the link is mentioned, in the description below. So what you can expect in this course is, we have, number one, the structure is we start you off with front-end web development. Now, generally speaking, front-end web development is a little bit easier. It's more visual, as when you take up HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Just to you, like, till you get up till CSS as well, just like from HTML and then CSS. The moment you reach CSS, you will be done with 4 projects. So that's what I meant. What's unique about this is that almost every week we are pushing out roughly 2 projects. So the time you get to CSS, you will have 4 projects, 2 HTML projects, 2 CSS projects, and so on. right? Then what we are going to do is we are going to tell you one of the most modern JavaScript frameworks. This is React.js. So we're going to be talking about React.js over there, and then we'll be taking up some more projects in that sense. So we have React.js over here, we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript. After that, we come to backend web development, where we cover SQL, Express.js. By the end of backend web development, you will have a full stack project. And when I say full stack project, you will have something like a clone of Zomato or a clone of medium.com. And all of these have actually been made by our students. To give you a few example projects that you have here, these projects that you see, these are projects that have been made by our students. It's not just a screenshot that we took and put it over there. These are projects made by the alumni of our students. Now coming to, yes, these kind of things already exist. A lot of people do front-end development, back-end web development, and then on top of that, placement preparation. What we have over here is placement prep specifically for cracking coding rounds of different companies, be that data structures, algorithms, or just services companies. So we do that preparation. But we are coupling this with a huge number of classes. There are so many classes it can't even show in one screen, but there's a huge number of classes over here, roughly 100 hours plus of classes that we are accompanying it with. So it's a very intensive boot camp where 2 hours of classes every day. On top of that, we expect 4 hours every day of practice from the students.
Okay, so thank you, Aneeq. Thank you. That really gives a lot of context to the people. So I'll very quickly shift gears, and the reason I want to shift gears to our special guest today, and we'll not call him guest, is an in-house mentor and a trainer, Devang. Welcome, Devang. Thank you for patiently waiting. So we'll start with something more interesting something more interesting on a different domain. Devang. You've been a coder since a while, and you currently work for one of the most prestigious security services company in the world. So very quickly, we would want you to introduce yourself and your very quick career journey from your college to where you are today and what you work in, so that it correlates to the fact that when you speak and when you are mentoring the students, how does it correlate with your experience to what you're going to teach? So a little quick intro from your side would be helpful.
Okay, sure. First of all, thanks Vasu and thanks Aneeq for the opportunity. I'll keep it short because we have a lot of content coming up, so I will not be taking much of the time. I'm sure pretty much our audience is waiting for the AMA session, so are we. So I'll keep it short for them brief. So I'm Devang Sharma, I'm working as a senior software developer at Cisco. So I'm part of the SBG org here. SBG is Security Business Group. If I talk about my experience, I'm working as a full stack developer, which includes front end, back end, designing and developing the solutions end to end. Most of the products that we are delivering, these are related to B2B customers domain. So in that B2B customers domain, we get the customer requirements, we design the solution, we develop it end to end, and then followed by testing and deployment to the cloud solutions. The best thing about working at Cisco here is that tech stack is not limited. I see most of the companies, they have a specific tech stack and that is what their code base, because that is expected to happen. We are working for a market leader, you're specific to a particular tech stack that goes into the legacy code. But the good thing about Cisco is it is not limited, it's everything under the sun. I personally have worked with Java, which is our main tech stack, then Spring Boot Hibernate, and we have Node.js, Python, Golang, Perl, PHP. And that's it only for the backend. And Ruby on Rails is something I've just explored right now, and that is only for the backend. Coming to the front end, we have worked with JavaScript, TypeScript, jQuery, Angular, and React. Angular is a little bit used, but yeah, it's mostly used for the end-to-end projects. And most of our tech stack is in React as well. That is only on the full stack part, front end and back end. Now coming to the deployment part, we have used AWS, we have used Azure, we have GCP, we have our own Cisco device orchestrator. So we are bringing our own Cisco cloud provider as well, just like you see AWS and GCP, right? So we have our own private cloud as well. So both public and private cloud, we got a domain experience as well. And then coming to the CI/CD part, so that includes Git, GitLab, and Jenkins. So I would say pretty much everything is covered. It's not about you're working as a one developer or you're a specific developer. You're working a complete team itself, and I think that's the best exposure that any developer get into. So yeah, the work is quite amazing here. It's not related to only security, it's a very wide domain. A lot of people confuse Cisco as a market leader in security. Cisco is a market leader in security, it's a market leader in networking, it's a market leader in AI, it's a market leader in the cloud native solutions. So cloud native solutions, you work with Docker, you do with Kubernetes, and recently we have introduced a project called Cisco Secure. A lot of domains Cisco is a market leader into, and that's really one of the biggest advantages to work here. Whatever domain you want to explore into, whatever domain you want to shift into, you get the advantage to do that. So that's pretty much summary of my work that I'm doing at Cisco. Relating to my college life back, well, as I have said in most of my videos, and I'm just reiterating again, I didn't determine to be or I didn't destined to be a software engineer. It's somehow I call myself the accidental software engineer or the eventual software engineer. That's the right word for it. So I always wanted to join the army, but somehow though the matter of the things rolled out, I came out as a software engineer. Talking about my brief college journey, it was very short. I was doing internship during all my college journey. I started doing my internship from the second semester itself. And at the end, when I got graduated after my 8th semester, I have completed 9 internships. I had 27 offers in my hand. All of them were product-based company. I haven't appeared for any service-based company as of now. So those 27 offers, 25 were in India, and some of the common names you can see on the screen and I've shown in the previous videos as well. And two were offsite, one in Singapore and one in US. And apart from that, post that till now, about around 2 years, I've got four more offers to my add to the basket. So yeah, the journey is going pretty good. I've said not that much actively interviewing, but if I find an opportunity which is compelling to me, which is challenging me enough, I definitely like to try myself out and push it to the limits. So yeah, and just the last part I would like to cover is about how this relates to my experience is that one thing that I have done in my college that is really helpful in my career so far is competitive programming. I know a lot of people make a buzzword around what is competitive programming. Is it mandatory or is it not mandatory? Well, the one thing that really helped me for competitive programming is problem solving. And I think that's as an interviewer, I can relate now. At that time, when I was candidate, I was not that much assured what is that used for. But as an interviewer, I can relate it very clearly that competitive programming or the problem solving is something we as an interviewer expect in the candidate, right? Even if you're not a competitive programmer, but you're a very good problem solver, that's all we need from a candidate. We are here to teach you, we are here to guide you, but we need that appetite, we need that skill set, okay? If a problem is thrown to you, and trust me, problem will always be ambiguous. It's not like you will be very specifically told, go there, make a change at line number this. No. You have to think up, you have to come up with a solution, and then you have to optimize it. So that's one of the biggest advantage I've given. And if I talk about the achievements, I have been a world semi-finalist on Google Code Jam and Facebook Hacker Cup. And recently I make it to the top coders region list. The results are out, so I'm planning for the finals as well. Let's hope the best for India. That's from my end.
Thank you very, very much, Devang. Very inspiring. Every time we bring you on board and ask you things, we always get one new thing that you're running about. So all the best for your coding competition. All the best from India. It's one of the most prestigious coding competitions in the world. It's a global one, and you are on the forefront of that. So we wish you all the best. So very quickly, Aneeq, I'll direct the question to you. So Devang has spoken about the full stack can be a very, very huge universe of things, right? What is it that specifically, which you already told, but what is it that we have chosen a specific tech stack, and is the tech stack enough for you to start attending interviews?
All right. So when we talk about tech stacks, we talk about like the front end, the back end, and then where we are going to deploy it. So, the people who are a bit confused about what is front end, what is back end, exactly, we broke it down really, really nicely in a previous video of ours. We'll put that also in the description. But basically speaking, front end is everything you see visually. And here we're covering HTML, CSS, JavaScript, because that is the bare bones basics that has to be covered for sure. Also, the front end framework that we're covering is called as React.js. It is probably the most popular front end framework out there, made by Facebook, and now it's being used all over. So yeah, so that's React.js is what we're using. On the back end, we're still using a JavaScript framework only. It's called Node.js, Express.js in Node.js. That's what we're using. And for the database, because most companies like to ask SQL, we are going to use SQL database. So it could be the SQLite or MySQL and so on. So any particular database, but we'll teach you how to use a SQL database, not MongoDB, simply because in your coding rounds you will get questions regarding SQL. So hence we're not taking that. But MongoDB is a pretty, there are enough tutorials how you can connect that to Express.js, so you'll be able to pick that up as well. On top of that, so this will just make you a full stack web developer. And in this process, you'll easily get about 10 to 15 projects, depending on how well equipped you are and how enthusiastic you are. So we have a lot of bonus projects as well. On top of that, we are also covering placement preparation stuff. So things like algorithms, data structures, previously asked questions of companies, and so on. So we're covering a lot of placement related stuff as well. Those are the things that are needed for you to even clear the coding round, to go into the technical interviews. So before you even come to the technical interview, you need to clear the coding round actually. So we are covering that as well. Yeah. So this is like overall what we're covering. Yes.
Two quick follow-up questions, and people are asking. One question is, Aneeq, when we designed this course, when we structured this course, we went to a lot of industry people who are actually hiring companies and said that, hey, is this what you would want? So the question we have, follow-up question is, you're teaching a specific tech stack. What if the interviewer wants us to talk about different technologies which is not covered in the course or framework which is not taught there? So what's
Yeah.
the how do we
So
get
one thing is, especially through companies that we are positioning our students to, we already always share to the company what are the things that we have trained you on, and we make sure that they know what are the things that you've trained you on. So, for example, they will not expect you to know, let's say, MongoDB if you've not trained you on that, right? However, some companies will have a different requirement. They'll say that, okay, Express.js is good, your data structures algorithms is good, but you need to know AngularJS on the front end, right? So the thing is, all these front-end frameworks, they are not so apart, right? So they are similar, they're not like super apart. Yes, the syntax will be different here and there, but generally speaking, if you are approaching a company like this, where you have like AngularJS as a requirement, we tell them beforehand that, hey, we are training you on React.js, right? Do not expect them to be experts in AngularJS. However, the way we have trained them, they can pick up AngularJS in 2-3 weeks as well, right? Because we are not teaching them React.js, we're teaching them front-end web development. It happens to be in React.js. So we are teaching you in such a way that you understand the front-end components and the entire like how to actually think of the front-end architecture. We're teaching in React.js. You can easily port it to an AngularJS. And multiple of our students have done this in previous courses. We have trained them on Java. The moment they've joined the company, it turned out to be a Python company. And so they've coded on Python. But the way we taught them on Java, they were able to pick up the Python concepts really easily. So we are well versed with these kind of things, and we always teach from the basic principles so that whenever they are moving from one company to the other, the basic principles are still intact.
Okay. So quick follow-up questions, and this is very much in tune with the course content. How long is the course content? And people really want to know that if they are at very, very basic level, that means they're not very familiar with full stack, or they're not very good proficient in any one programming language. How long is the course content, and what's the effort required to actually get through it?
So we do require that at least some programming. Like if you've never done, let's say, a hello world before, if you have never done a little bit of loops or something, then it becomes very difficult for you to catch with the pace of this course. So if you have done some level, it could just be C programming as well, but some level of programming, this entire course is designed in 10 weeks. It's a whole 10 weeks course. And you can the entire schedule of the course is also mentioned on our website. Link is in the description below, so you can check that out over there. But yeah, so it takes about 10 weeks, but 10 weeks are just the classes, and those are 2 hours of classes a day. Just by 2 hours of classes a day, nobody is going to become a full stack web developer. You need to go back and then actually practice. So you need to set out 4 to 5 hours in a day to sit and practice. And initially, this 4 to 5 hours will not be enough also. Initially, it needs to be 6 and 7 hours. As you progress in the course, then you can take up a little lesser time as you go ahead.
So I'll very quickly shift gears to Devang. It's very interesting. Whenever Devang and I chat up, believe me, Devang is a full-time working practitioner, is a professional at the MNC, but he's still practicing and on coding competitions. Why is that, Devang, that as a software professional, that mindset of continuous learning is there in you? And why is it that you strongly recommend this kind of a mindset to be developed by young people who are aspiring to become software professionals?
Okay, that's a really good question, and I would like to just say that software engineering is one of the most volatile careers in this world. You take any other professions, right? You have required some. Every profession requires some specific skill set, right? But if we talk about software engineering, the tech stack that you're working at right now, the tech stack that you're proficient at right now, you can never say 5 years down the line it's going to be the same tech stack. You never know. Tomorrow there can be something new in the market. Yesterday there can be something new in the market, right? You take examples of companies like PHP. PHP was one of the most used languages in the world if I talk about 1995. And if you see right now, less than 2% of the companies are still using that. Less than 2%. So technology is the most evolving thing. Take example of Android and BlackBerry, right? At one time, Nokia used to be the market leader in mobile phones. Now it's the Android world. Right? You don't know what will come tomorrow. So software engineering is one of the most volatile careers in the world. So if you want to keep up in the pace, you have to learn the new things. That's one thing. And second thing is, why is that mindset requirement? I won't say it's a particular requirement, it's the need of the industry. It's not just a requirement, it's the need of the hour. And the second thing is that the better problem solver you become, the more resources you look out, the more research you do, the better you learn, the better professional you become. The reason for being that is, as I said, problems will always be ambiguous. There are no specific set of challenges that needs to be solved in a good organization. This will always be ambiguous in nature. So what is expected out of you is you know different domains what problems have been solved. Maybe some domain is in security, another domain is in e-commerce, another domain is in fintech, but the problems have similar nature. So the more you have researched, the more you have figured from your end, that will help you in your work life to solve the challenges.
Thank you, Devang. Sorry, gentlemen. So the kind of questions I'm getting is very interesting, and it's crisscrossing between Aneeq and Devang. Aneeq, all to you. Ram is asking. So he wants to learn full stack, but not as much into DSA. So are there still enough jobs available out there when somebody becomes competent in full stack and not as much in DSA?
Okay, so I don't want to learn DSA just with designing web pages. Yeah, definitely there are a lot of jobs with just full stack web development. But know that generally now, whenever you want to go for a higher paying job and for a product company, they do check for DSA in the first coding round, right? So now a lot of startups have started coming up that don't even check for DSA in the coding round. They directly go for front end and back end. But it's very rare and it's not an industry norm as yet. It will become soon, but it's not yet become a norm. So for most companies, if you wanted to go for a web development job with a higher package, you will need to know DSA first and then be able to go there. But yes, if you just wanted to start as a web designer, there are enough jobs in the market. You just know this and you can go and apply, but then the package will be lesser. So it's like a function of that. The higher the package, the more DSA will be there at the start.
Aneeq, a logical question to that. Somebody's asking, why did you price your course $999? And what's this whole story about this success fee? When will you take the success fee? What do I owe you, and what would you owe us?
Got it. So I'll just actually show that up because that's caused a lot of interest in this entire thing. So here, as you can see, we have something called as a success fee, right? And I'll just actually bring that up and show all of you. So the entire point of this is because we're dealing directly with graduates, right? Somebody who actually needs a job right now, not somebody who's in their second year or third year who will need a job in the future. We're talking about someone who's graduated and really wants a job right now. We created this thing that we want to, as they say, put your money where your mouth is. We want to show you that we can help you get a job. Whatever we're teaching you will help you get the job. So obviously this course, if you check, generally we sell this course at a much higher price, but we are doing this at $999 because we feel that we can get you a job. If you complete this course, we have enough company connects. We know what the companies want, that we will help you get a job. And depending on the package that you get, you'll have to pay us a different success fee. So those details are mentioned here. And the entire idea is you pay $999 just to enroll. If you have completed the course and then you get a job, and when I say get a job, you actually are able to join the job. It's not about getting a bogus offer letter. Somebody generates an offer letter and sends you. It's in your inbox, but nobody responds to it, right? It's not like that. It means a genuine company. When you join the company, then you have to pay us a success fee. For more of those details, to reach out to our counselors, reach out to us on WhatsApp or on the call, because it's not as simplistic as just me telling you this. You have to just, there are a few terms and conditions. So do reach out to them and they'll help you out with that. But bottom line is this: if you don't get a job, then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to pay us at all. But if you do complete the course and get a job, then you should pay us the success fee. So that's the idea over here.
Thank you, Aneeq. So, Aneeq, a lot of follow-up questions on this because of probably the very low price point we put, because it's all about success of the students is when we believe we are successful. People are asking, there are a lot of boot camps. It's all about join for free, pay ₹0. It's an ISA model. So what's the difference between that and this?
Okay, very good. So I'm glad that you brought this up. So in an ISA model, right, first things first is, if you see our success fees over here, our success fee goes maximum about 25,000 rupees, which is roughly like half a month's salary if you get paid at 6 lakhs per annum. And if you get placed at like 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs or something, it's even like a quarter of, like at 12 lakhs per annum, it's a quarter of your month's salary, just month's salary. Whereas when you go for like an income share agreement thing, no matter what your salary is, you still have to end up paying like about a month's or 2 months salary, depending on which boot camp that you go for. So what we wanted to do was, we didn't want to get into that model where we are taking like so much of your salary. You should get salary and you should enjoy on that. So the idea here is that we first of all want to guarantee that if you get below 3 lakhs per annum, we don't even take a success fee. Anything above that, we grade it like 10,000, then 15,000, then 20,000. So at any point, it's just like a half month salary, and nothing more than that. In an income share agreement, that agreement goes up for up to 2 years, sometimes 3 years. So that means over the span of 3 years, you will end up paying like 3 months salary, which we feel is a lot, which doesn't do justice to what we're doing right now. We just want to help you get a job. That's it. We don't want to continuously keep taxing your income over the way. So that's the idea over here.
Okay. So Aneeq, one of the questions which people are asking, and it's very interesting because if you go to the bottom, a little below this page, it says that there's a DSA also, introduction
Yes.
to DSA, you go to friend. So people are either asking, is it mandatory that they need to have number one was part? Two, is this enough DSA to get into the real product companies, the kind of ones which Devang and you run a very different course on?
Very good, very good. So I'll talk a little bit about DSA. I think Devang here is very familiar. We just are about to finish one batch of DSA, and we spent about 2 months on that one. And what you'll realize is that DSA to study, we have kept about 10 days over here. DSA to study in 10 days is not like if you're starting from scratch, you're not going to be competitive programming level, especially not the level that Devang was saying, right? Your Hacker Cup and all of that finalist, you're not going to be at that level. So I want to just make that clear right away. We are not making any such promises. What we are saying is, for the companies that we have tied up with, the level of DSA that those companies need, right? And we're talking typically anywhere between 6 lakhs to 10 lakh per annum jobs that we are tied up with. Those companies, we can definitely help you, because on top of this, if you just go a little bit ahead, in the front-end development part, we are also teaching you JavaScript. And at the time of JavaScript, we do cover a lot of coding questions, a lot of logical questions. And so when we come to the DSA part, it's just an extension of that on how you can use JavaScript for some of those algorithms. We are definitely not going into the deep DSA part here. If you want to crack let's say JP Morgan, a service now, all of these like big product companies, you are most likely not going to get enough DSA to crack those product companies level over here. However, if you want to join as a full stack web developer at any of these product companies, generally the DSA level is not so high for them. And what is exactly needed for DSA for them, we help you out enough over there. And there's enough and more practice material, right? There's enough and more practice material that while the course finishes, you'll have you'll have access to this for at least another year. You can keep practicing those. There'll be mentors who can help you and you solve your doubts as well.
So how many interviews will you help us with? Are these companies directly working with Edyst? And what happens if I apply for a job on my own after I do this course?
Right. That's a good question, sir. If you can answer that, I think you've been dealing with the companies a lot. So if you could help us out with that one. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So first things first, there's another parallel question. Is there going to be an agreement? Absolutely, there's going to be an agreement. And you got to understand that we are in this ecosystem. Devang, Aneeq, and the rest of the people are asking you people to be inspired enough to put in your time and effort, and they are putting your time and effort. So you don't believe that you're going to get a company offer for 999 rupees, right? There has to be some balance, and there has to be some mathematics behind it. So this 990 is an application. We will, so that in case you do not get an offer, which we believe if you put in the effort you'll always get, you do not feel cheated, or you do not feel that, oh, I spend money on this, and so on and so forth. So hence this course is, one, very rigorous. It's job oriented. 3, there are a set of companies who we are working with, who are all talking about saying that when this bunch of students pass out, give us the top tier of this. Let's say this is a 100 people batch, and let's say there's going to be oversubscription on it, and so on and so forth. They're going to say, give us the top 100 people who actually have been through these companies, through this entire process, who are actually good at front end, which is the CSS, HTML, JavaScript, who are good at back end, who are able to demonstrate some projects. We're going to place these resumes after the interview preparation, which Aneeq and Devang and the rest of the people are going to do, and put you in front of these companies. Before we put you in front of these companies, we're going to tell you what that company is, what is the pay pack, what are the terms and conditions with this company. Your choice is that with all the information which you provide about the company, you can say that yes, I will attend the interview or I will not. If you do not want to attend the interview, I hope you have enough and more strong reasons why you do not want to attend this interview, because we will not refer you to any company till we have done our due diligence about the company, about the pay pack, and so on and so forth. Once you say yes, I want to attend the interview, and you attend the interview, and hope more likely than not you get through it. So when you get through it and you have a job offer, the commitment is that you will pay us the success fee based on which level of salary which you have. So some people ask, sir, I will only do 999 and I'll find my own jobs. So if that is the case, can we stop you from doing that? The answer is no. But what will happen is that you will go and attend an interview at a company where we do not know what tech stack they're looking forward to. We are not in a position to help you saying that this is the interview structure, whether it's coding 1 round, coding 2 round, what are they going to ask you in the technical rounds, and so on and so forth. We have a fair idea for the companies which we are working with, which we are partnering with. Can you go and get a job on your own? The answer is yes. But what we are looking for is this set of people go through this very structured, rigorous, intense course curriculum, attend the interviews which we are setting up, get the jobs, and then pay the success fee which we are looking forward to. Can you go and what is the contract say? The contract is going to be extremely simple, and it's all pro you or pro the learner, unlike other ones which will lock you in. When you get an offer and when you join up the company with the confirmed offer is when you pay before the offer letter. The second part of the question which a lot of people ask is, I attended an interview for 3 lakh, I got it, can I attend the interview for a 6 lakh? Unless otherwise, and we'll tell you this before, that there are certain companies which are going to tell that, hey, we will offer you this, please do not decline the offer once you accept it. So there is no compulsion saying that, hey, when a company gives you an offer, what you should not do as a professional is decline the offer once you get it, because it's a partnership between you, Edyst, and the company. Once you accept the offer, we would like you to respect that offer letter and join up. However, once you have not accepted, you've just been a part of the interview process, and we believe that there's an open opportunity for you for any other company at a higher, let's say you attend for a 3 lakh, but there's an opportunity for a 4 lakh job, and you have not yet accepted the offer yet. Yeah, you're more than happy, and we'll be correcting you to those companies which are offering you a higher salary, and we'll let you make the final choice, and so on and so forth. So very quickly coming to you, Devang, we've been talking about the companies, the interview process, and so on and so forth. Two questions really come to young people, young learners who are a part of the bootcamp, is saying that I learned certain tools and technologies. Now the most important thing is I am able to tell myself that I have built some competencies in coding, but learning and knowing certain things is very different from ability to express ourselves and tell the other person who's on the other side of the table, the interviewer, that I know certain things. So what are your some good tips for, especially for a full stack developer, to tell them that these are some of the competencies which you need to build, technical, and what are some of the softer aspects and the soft competencies which they need to build?
Okay. I would like to answer this with a quote that I have just recently seen on Reddit. The quote goes something like this: your code is like a humor. If you have to explain it, then it's bad. Coming back to it, when you are a software developer, you should do the talking not by your mouth. You should do the talking by your code. If you are a full stack developer, make sure that you have built something project, at least 5 to 6 projects in your buffer. Select the top 2 projects or the top 3 projects which are really good and go from the inside out. Now, when I say really good, I'm not saying take something very, very heavy and design it within 2 days. That's not possible. I personally see in interview, candidates come to me that they have designed the Amazon website within 10 days. Amazon itself took 3 years and more than 1,000 developers to develop that website. And you are saying that you went to YouTube and designed that in 10 days. How is it possible? It's not possible. You have just cloned it, right? Even if I'll ask a basic question, you might not be able to answer it. It's not like just following the herd and tracking something really big that will create a good impression. No. Be very clear with the things. Choose your top best 2 or 3 projects, because that's the bandwidth that we will have in the interview discuss on. Not 5 projects or 10 projects. Choose the top 2 or 3 projects, right? Out of those two and three projects, divide into the STAR methodology. STAR means number one, which is situation. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? It can be very simple. For example, I'm using Spotify. The thing that I'm get most irritated is the ads that keep on coming, right? I'm listening to a music, suddenly an ad came up. So that's the thing that irritates me the most. As a user, I want to remove that ads. So maybe you designed a plugin, maybe you designed additional feature on the top of it. How do you remove that ads? That can be one thing. Similarly in YouTube, right? You see the skip ads option is there. So you can create an extension that will skip the ads. That's what I have done at least in my project because that's make me more productive. I don't want to waste my time see watching that, right? This can be simple problems but are helpful in nature. That is the first part situation. Second part is the task. How do you divide that into the task? What are the tech stack you're going to use? Why are you going to use the tech stack? What is the advantage of that? Third is the action. How did you code it? How much days did it take to code it? What are the specific front end, back end languages that you have used? And final is the result. How efficient that app is, how efficient it is performing in terms of latency, in terms of memory, in terms of deployment, everything. And final comes about the number. So if you explain like this, a particular situation, how you divide into tasks, how you got the actions and final result, I think that gives you a very good impression in front of the interviewer. First impression is that you're very clear in your thought process. You know what the problem is, you know how to solve it, you can solve it. So as an interviewer, first impression I will get is you are a problem solver in nature, you know how to express. Second thing is that whenever you're making a full stack project, please, I would say, host it on our platform. Now, there are so many websites which do hosting for free. For example, Heroku is there, Netify is there, and AWS also given their 3 buckets for free. So host there somewhere. So instead of just explaining that this is your project, the best way is to go to that website and open that website. Tell about the features, like this is the feature, this is the pop-up you get, this is a chat window that you'll get, and explain about the features. The interviewer himself or herself will ask out the question related to the features, and that will create one-to-one discussion, and that's going to help you. So two things if I have to summarize with, be very clear with the STAR methodology. Make sure that you are crystal clear in your communication. Second thing, rather than speaking out, show your code, show what you have done, and then explain how you have done it.
Thank you so much, Devang. It's kind of been so wonderfully put in context. They almost something which I continuously read, saying that talk is cheap, show me your code. So so I think the days are gone where people write one paragraph of what the project is about. They write it in 2 or 3 bullet points now and give the link to their repository where people can go and see the code. So Edyst is all geared up to helping you put your hands-on project. So a lot of people say that, sir, can we copy from our friends the code and so on and so forth? Yeah, you can, but you'll not be, as Devang says, you'll not be competent or confident enough to talk about the code. Or sometimes I've also seen one very interesting scenario where a student had a code, not from Edyst, he was from some other institute. He had a code which he copied from his friend, and in an interview he showed the code, and the interviewer said, can I do any desk to your thing? Can I have access to your code? He very quickly removed some lines of the code and says, can you go fix the code? And the student could not, because he didn't build the code. He didn't write the code. He didn't understand the logic. And this student got really gave a bad impression to the student. So Edyst is all about learn the basics right, learn the fundamentals right, build your code on your own. And that's why he keeps using this word. It's an intense bootcamp. It's not a difficult bootcamp. It's an intense bootcamp. Intense means that if you put your heart, mind, and soul, and you put a sufficient amount of time and energy here, you're going to make it through. So we are moving into the third phase, which is going to be AMA. And just to warm up, a few questions have come onto the forum here. So we're going to start with Aneeq, you. Aneeq, one of the first questions people are asking is, are you going to do, it's got nothing to do with this, are you going to do a boot camp like this for product companies, for DSAs? When is the next one coming in?
Okay, yeah, I think Sagar has been asking me. We also want SDE bootcamp like this. When do we get? So first of all, if you just want to learn DSA, and if you want to learn DSA from someone like Devang or me, we already do this. We just finished one batch, and I think at the end of September we're launching a new batch. It's just for DSA. We don't we'll help you with referrals and all of that, but it's not as career oriented as this. We will just we'll help you with a little bit of resume prep, with the interview prep, but we're not actively going to. If companies come and ask us, we'll definitely promote you there or either refer you there, but we're not actively doing that. So it's not an intensive bootcamp as this one is. And that SD or rather that Algos Data Structures Bootcamp is open to anybody from 1st to 4th year. Anybody can join in, or if you're graduated also, anybody can join in over there. So it's already there. A bootcamp version of that, where we actually start placing you, interview guarantee version of that is in the works. We'll come back to you with that, but we're first making sure that the full stack one goes smoothly, and then we'll come back with the next one. Yeah.
Wonderful. So the second question to you, Aneeq, is people are asking now that you're going to start a bootcamp, which is very focused on full stack development and a job. What should we do if you're not able to cope up, because you're telling it's a very intensive course? What should we do if you're not able to cope up? What are some of the inputs you have based on the previous bootcamps which you did?
Right. So first things first is, if you are not able to cope up, it's multiple things. Number one is you're not able to give it enough time, right? And if you're not able to give it enough time, there is you just have to make time for it. Cut down time on something else. You can't, you can't just expect that you'll pick up full stack web development by giving 1 hour a day. It's not going to happen. So just be realistic with yourself. If you think you're going to pick up 2-3 courses at the same time, that will not happen. You can do only one at a time. So that's one thing. If you're stuck sometime on something technically, like you got a doubt, you don't know how to solve it, you're stuck in your project, so in those kind of things, daily you have classes with instructors. You can always reach out to them for doubts. We have a very active mentor system. That is, mentors are there online taking your doubts anytime from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. You have a doubt, our mentors will be there helping you with any doubts or questions. So there's always enough support for you if you really want to make full use of it. So the only requirement from your side is your effort and willingness to actually push. The more you push, the more our mentors will help you out. So that's what you should do when you're stuck.
So Devang, it's to you. One of our gentlemen friends, Somajit, is asking, to get a job in FANG companies, is it full stack that we need, or it is DSA, or what's you're the best person to answer because you got multiple offers.
Yeah, Devang, go ahead.
That's a good question, and the answer to it partially depends on the role that you're applying for as well, right? For a SD1 role or a fresh developer role, fresh graduate role, we don't expect much of the full stack development, right? Because we expect what they have been taught, they will be really good at data structures and algorithms. So for a SD1 role or a fresher graduate role, I don't think there will be much full stack development at all of the fun companies and all the good product companies I've come across. Second, coming to the SD2 role, since now you have experience, maybe 2 years, 3 years or more of your experience, now it is expected that you must have worked on different tech stack, maybe related to front end, maybe related to back end, maybe related to the deployment part, CI/CD. But at least you would have some experience. So there they will go specific about the tech stack. But that being said, I'm not undermining the importance of DSA. Any good company, any product-based company you take, first round will always be coding. It can be a coding round with a one-to-one interviewer, or it can be a coding round based upon any platform, HackerRank, HackerEarth, Codility, or anything else. But it's going to be a coding round. So both your DSA and development skills are required for senior roles. For the junior roles, I will say it's mostly about DSA and problem solving.
Okay, Sagar is asking a similar question, sir. If I join as a full stack developer, can I become SD, or can I get into core development in 1 to 2 years? So that's the answer which you're giving, saying that you can. This is a start point, but as you bring in more competencies and skills and more experience, and you're becoming better at, and that's exactly what Aneeq was trying to tell you, that there are a lot of people in the DSA batches which we run, where existing software professionals come and take up the course because they want to jumpstart their career into product roles and at higher salaries and so on and so forth. So yes, absolutely, Sagar, you can. The software careers are so dynamic these days that your intent and your energy is what will be the driving force for you, how far you can go. So what we are helping at Edyst is give you the start points of it. So Aneeq, one quick question. So Vivek is asking, he knows Python. How do I become a web developer? Or most probably, I think a similar kind of questions are, they have one language, but there's nowhere Python in our full stack. So how does the language correlate in our full stack course?
Well, one thing is, with Python, you can definitely attempt all the DSA questions that we have. So that's always a given. You can do that. Any coding around, you can clear that. But more importantly, see, with full stack, the front end is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. That's what you need to know very well. And so JavaScript and Python, I would say, are pretty similar in terms of logic. In fact, any programming language is usually similar in terms of logic. My suggestion to you would be, actually, you're very well versed. If you're already good at Python, you already have a head start when you actually pick up JavaScript, because it's not going to be too difficult. The thing about JavaScript most people struggle with is something called the asynchronous nature of JavaScript, which you'll understand when we start teaching you all of that. You'll understand that even if you're from C, from Java, from Python, it won't really make sense to you until you start that in JavaScript. So yes, you can definitely become a web developer even if you know Python. That's completely fine. I would suggest, if you just want to check out what I mean by this, on our YouTube channel itself, we have a bunch of free projects on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, check it out. You will see that it doesn't matter that you know Python or Java or whatever, right? You will be able to pick it up because it's just visual coding over there. Coming to the backend part, again, if your logic is sound, right? If you're good at your logic in Python, picking up the backend even in like Express.js, Node.js is not going to be too difficult for you.
So I'll shift to
just to add to the Aneeq's point.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So as a Python, if you know, right, I'm not sure how many of you know what's a very common framework, Django, right? So Django is a Python-based framework for the backend. So if you're good at Python, a lot of good organizations like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, these are built on Django websites, right? So as a web developer, that framework for the Python specific will give you the advantage. So you can explore that side, design microservices in it, become a full stack developer. It's really easy for them.
So I'll hold you to that question because it's such a logical answer you gave. So if you're really good at one strong language like Python, so Python, Django, Python, Flash, that's how it couples as a framework. You can go. So our friend MAKBIT is asking, MacBit is asking, what if once I start the course, I don't think I want to become a specialist in backend? Can I be a specialist in just front end?
I would say yes, because see, everything is necessary, right? And you don't need to be a jack of all and master of none. That's not gonna work with any organization for that matter, and not for you as well in professional career. Whatever domain you like, it's not like all the full stack developers are very good in front end, no, and they are very good in back end, no. A full stack developers, if I generally talk about, they're 70% back end and 30% front end, and that is why we have specific role of front end and specific role for back end also. So whatever domain you're into, if you find like, okay, I'm more interested in the UI UX part, how the features interact, how it rolls out to the customer, how the user clicks the button and all of these matrices, you want to explore more of the front end part, go ahead. If you want more on the backend part, like deployment and microservice, how they interact with each other, and go with the backend part. See, we have specific role for front end, we have specific role for backend. Every organization has specific role for full stacks as well. So whatever domain you're into, you just need to love it. You just need to explore more into it. And I think any domain is fine, be it front end, back end, or full stack.
Wonderfully said. And it always, we keep telling when we speak to senior people, they say it's a T model where broadly you learn many skills, you pick up one specialization and go into depth into that. So a full stack course which we have, we tell you a little bit of front end, little bit of back end, little bit of databases, little bit of deployment. Then based on your interests, your competencies, the opportunities which you get, you start specializing in one, and that is what. Aneeq, one question to you. Mr. Mahesh is asking, he's somebody who can't attend everyday classes. Will there be live lectures? What about the recordings? And what kind of other support can people expect from the course?
Right. So first things first is if you cannot, so if you missed any session, I'll put it that way. If you missed any session, live lectures, live recordings are present for sure. They are there to help you out. However, I will highly advise against missing the session. So think twice before joining this course. I think we'll be the first people to tell you don't join. I'm not telling you don't join. I'm telling think twice about this, because the more live lectures you miss, the more opportunity you miss to talk to the instructor. Right. Again, you're on YouTube right now. You just search full stack web developer full course. You'll get a 10-hour full course available on full stack web developer. Right. So I'm not even trying to joke around saying that, we have a very exclusive content. This content is widely available. What we are offering you is instructor interaction, that you actually get to speak to the instructor, understand. You'll have a very, very specific doubt. That is what the instructor will help you out with. A recording will not help you with that. So that's the issue over there. If you miss one or two, use the recording for that for sure. If you know you are going to miss, that is like the timings don't suit you, for example, right? And you're going to miss those sessions, I will highly advise you saying that, wait, this is probably not the best batch. Look for future batches where you can actually join in any of these courses, right? Where we have better timings for you.
And very good point, Aneeq. And I want to use this opportunity to tell all our young friends, when you're joining a bootcamp like this, don't just provision your time for live lectures. Oh, there's going to be a lecture every day for 2 hours. So there are 24 hours in a day. 2 hours is for Edyst. No, 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever is live lectures, is the bare minimum what you should commit to Edyst. Another 4 times more, another 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours is what you need to cater yourself for, provision your schedule to do a lot of practice. So what is taught in the live lectures, they would come and pick up a concept, tell you where the concept is used, what's the intent of the concept, and so on and so forth, and says, why don't you go and practice now? So by the time you come back to the next class, you should have come back and asking relevant questions to them and saying that I was practicing this. These are the kind of problems I encountered. Is there an alternative way? I was Googling something. I found an alternate way. Why didn't you teach me that? That is when the class becomes extremely rich and in a way where you express yourself and Devang will tell, all right, great point. You found another way to do it. Let me also tell you why we don't tell you that way. Why do we teach only this way, or sometimes things like that? So please don't provision. Please do not think that attending classes on this boot camp, hey, 999 rupees, let me attend some 30 lectures and I'll get a job. No, sir. Attending lectures, if I do a pie chart, 20% of your entire effort is attending lectures, 80% more is what you have to do that. Very quickly, technical question to you, Devang. One gentleman, Jay, is asking, without Node.js, can we learn Express.js?
Uh, yeah, you can. Without Node.js, you can learn the Express.js. But I will recommend if you're learning, then learn with the experience, right? Because Express.js comes with various versions. And Node.js is something that will be most widely used. If you see the graphs on Stack Overflow or similar websites, right? Number one backend languages, first is Java, second is Node.js. So you should be aware of the market trends that are going on. Of course, you can learn. There's will be minor differences between Express.js and Node.js, but it's better to learn with the versions. I will recommend learning Node.js because as a full stack developer, that is going to be highly in demand, and that is what we are teaching at Edyst. We're teaching the MERN stack here, so MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js, right? So that Node.js is one of the most popular backend languages. So if you're learning Express, why not to go for the Node? That's going to be really helpful.
And Aneeq, people are asking, you specifically mentioned that this bootcamp is for 2018, 19, 2021. Why is that so?
Okay, so why we are focusing specifically on 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021 is because we have a lot of companies in pipeline who want people who can immediately join up, and they need to. When I say join, it's not like an internship. The moment you get an offer letter, the next day you might have to join. The next week you might have to join. Nothing more than that, right? So if you are a 2022 graduate, you are going to graduate in February, sorry, not in February, sorry, April, May, right? That kind of, depending on which state you are in and so on. A company is not going to wait that long for the companies that we are partnered with, right? And the ones who have reached out to us. In your campus placements, obviously, I already know because Edyst does campus placements as well. We have a college where more than 400 students are already placed and they're going to join a year later. So that's campus placements. This is off-campus placements, and this the joining has to be very immediate. So hence we are not taking people less than 2021, and we are also not taking people who graduated earlier than 2018 because again the company's requirement is that somebody should not have graduated. The gap should not be so much. Another interesting requirement, I'll just on the topic of eligibility, is we are taking people only with career wide 60% and above. That is, in your 10th and 12th and in BTech, you should have had more than 60% aggregate. The reason being over here that most of the companies we spoke to actually needed this kind of a requirement. Again, I feel that even less than 60%, it shouldn't really matter. But at the end, the company is going to employ you. We are not going to. So I don't want to promise you something that will not help you. Yeah.
So just to the last point is very important, and we want to be extremely transparent about the course duration, how much effort you need to put. One of the students said, "Sir, you're scaring me, saying that I have to do a lot of practice," because we want to be upfront. Because a lot of people say that, "Hey, you join our course, you join our boot camp, and you'll get a job." There's no such thing. Devang is where he is today, and where he continues to sweat every day. That shows that at what level of involvement you should have had and what effort you should have put in. So the answer to the extension to what Aneeq was telling is, while 60% is an eligibility criteria for the companies which we have currently tied up with, we are currently working with 2 or 3 companies, and the reason why they have asked us not to name those companies in this webinar is that everybody will start writing to that company's website at the rate of so and so, and they'll start applying. They say we do not want that to happen. But once the boot camp is over, of course, you will know the name of the company, name of the HR, where you should send the resume, and we are going to connect you directly to the company. So we cannot share the name of the company till you finish the boot camp. During this tenure, we get more companies. You're going to have more and more opportunities on that. So, Aneeq, one of the questions which people are asking is that I'm currently working as a data scientist at a company. Can I switch to another company as a full stack? So, what do you think, Devang and Aneeq? They want to switch career tracks.
Okay, I'll just answer. I think companies, especially the ones we were talking to, would be happy to have that because you had some
Yes.
work experience. You know the basic SDLC, the software development life cycle. So you know that at least, right? So obviously, when placed with somebody who has no experience, you are definitely going to get a boost up, and you're going to be valued for that. But yeah, for a very specific answer, I'd ask Devang to
Yeah.
go ahead with this. Yeah.
I think it's a very good explanation that Aneek has told. Just to add his point is that whatever domain you are into, data engineering is a very, I would say, enormous domain as well. So there is Scala, there is other data engineering techniques, ETL is there, processes are there, business intelligence is there. So whatever experience you have, it's always going to be helpful. It's not going to seen as a negative part. It's always seen to as a positive part because you are coming with already a background which is where you have solved many ambiguous problems. So it will be helpful to you. Now it depends on you how you sell that in the interview, right? So why don't you club the two domains? For example, you have data engineering experience and you want to go in full stack. So maybe design a website which uses the data analysis. So you have the experience, right? So design a dashboard kind of a thing, design a report kind of a thing, design some good visualizations out of it. So that will actually impact, okay, you are really a good problem solver. You can take two domains and you can combine them in something that will help the organization. So I think that way that will be very helpful for anybody.
So beautifully put, Devang. Thank you so much. And one or two questions on my panel here, Anik, and then I'll leave it to you in case there are more. So one of the questions, probably I'll take this and then pass on the other ones. A lot of people are asking, what if I do the course and I get a job on my own? So you got to understand that there is a certain intent. The intent is train and deploy. So we want to work on both ends of the spectrum here. So if you get a job and you don't tell us and you run away, if that's what you're thinking, we will not chase you. But you got to understand the intent with which we started off, 999 and a full stack development course. So we are coming up with a gentleman's value proposition. We hope that you will also hold up to your end of it. And if you get a job and you say, you know what, this is a job I've got, and I'm sure if you get a 6 lakh job, would you want to, in your 6 lakh in a year, and you have a great career ahead, would you want to save 25 lakh and then run away and not do that? I hope not, but we hope that we're going to keep the gentleman's agreement on both sides, and you're going to be as honest and as transparent as we are, and that's what. So we expect you to let us know that you've got a job, and the point here I'm trying to make is that once you're a part of the alumni network or you become an Edyst alumni, Aneeq has this beautiful portal which he works with a dedicated team. It's all continuous job postings. So it's not the first job which you get. It's the journey which you're going to be your rest of your life with Edyst. So we expect you to be honest and transparent about the job offers which you're getting. But yes, we are very confident that the kind of companies which we are currently working with, we should be able to put you across into those companies and help you get a job. So Aneek, one question to you: which companies hire after the bootcamp? Please answer. As we said, we cannot answer that. The companies have asked us not to name those companies at this point of time. But these are companies which are verified companies. We have spoken to the HR directly. They are willing to make genuine offers, genuine interviews, and nobody is going to ask you pay us some fee, referral fee, nothing. Only after you get a final interview call and you have an offer letter coming from them, you have a joining date, is when the activation of the success fee happens. So, Aneek, one of the very interesting questions earlier in the chat, they said, some companies still ask us to do an aptitude test as a part of the interview process?
Nice. Yeah. So the thing is, I will say no, right? Most of the people never ask that aptitude question, but I don't want to rule it out. Okay. So I want to tell you this right now that some of the companies where we've got placed, we placed someone with like 14, 15 lakhs per annum. They started with an aptitude round. This is a unicorn company, more than $1 billion valuation company. They finally asked data structure algorithms, but the first round was aptitude. So I don't want to rule it out. I'll not take the name of the company. We have a lot of alumni working in that company, but their first round was aptitude. So if that can happen, I do not want to rule out any company, right? You all know your university exams, right? You know how unreliable your university exams are. The same thing is with companies as well. They are super unreliable. They will say one thing and the next day they will say, yeah, it's a simple aptitude test only, right? What's the harm in that? So I don't want to rule it out. Having said that, I don't expect anybody to ask you questions of like CAT level, GMAT level. Those are not the kind of aptitude questions that you are going to get. Usually speaking, companies use aptitude rounds in campus rounds to eliminate people. Here, even if you get, even if they are using the aptitude round, the round specifically is going to be like an off-campus thing. You're not going to have so many people apply for that, so the aptitude will not be so difficult and not so exclusionary. Like it's not meant to disqualify a lot of people. Rather, it be more like a data point to see whether you actually can do some basic aptitude. And again, just being very honest, having interacted with many candidates, sometimes aptitude is necessary. I have seen students not knowing basic NCR, NPR, combinations, permutations and combinations and so on. And I mean, that is basic that you need even in DS Algo. So if you're able to do DS Algo, I don't think you shouldn't be able to do aptitude. So that's my take on it. Yeah.
Correct. And very interestingly, I was speaking to an HR person, and Aneeq and I have our views on aptitude. Engineering student, please test them on DSA, please test them on application of some technologies and tools. Why do you? So some companies say that this is more of elimination. We don't want to interview 500 people. We want to interview the top 50. So they want to eliminate based on logic, and they believe that aptitude is where certain set of logic. And a very interesting answer we got from one of the HR person. He said that our aptitude is not so much on English and all that, but we give you a paragraph and we say, are you able to read, comprehend, and find out what we are trying to ask you? So this is so relevant, and because they say, sir, Vasu, a lot of requirements will come in from our US architects, and they come in paragraphs. The business requirements document, the functional requirements document, sometimes the technical requirements document. So the ability to actually read, focus, and ask the right kind of questions and follow the instructions is something which we're trying to see through this aptitude. So sometimes our aptitude questions are 10 lines long. And in fact, Aneeq very famously tells that some of the coding rounds in some of the companies, they have a paragraph of a coding question. And why can't you ask straightforward a question? What is it that you want me to do? No. Instructions in life don't necessarily come in bullet points. They come in different forms, and they're trying to figure out whether you're able to read, understand, and articulate, break down the problem, and so on. So those are the questions from my side, Aneeq, on my panel. If there anything from your side, if there are no more questions, I would like you and Devang to give some parting advice to young people who are wanting to become software professionals and they want to jumpstart their careers. What input would you want to have?
Okay, I'll just take a couple of more and then I'll say that. So people asking what is the date and the price for the data structures and algos course. So DSA course is going to launch September last week. Usually the same price. I think last time it was 6,500. I think that was an introductory price. So it may increase. I'm not sure, but in that range, 6,500 to 7,500. And we have a EMI option in that as well. And September last week is when it's going to start. So that's the thing. And somebody's asking what's the class timing. You can just go ahead and check out the page, and on weekdays it's 6 p.m. on weekend, Saturday and I think Sunday as well, it's 11 a.m. I'm not sure if you're doing it on Sunday. Let me just check it very quickly. But anyway, the entire class schedule is mentioned over there. No Sunday classes, so that you can have some time to practice. But so the entire class schedule is mentioned in the description below. Just go to the link in the description below. You'll get it. Very good question. Somebody's asking, sir, if you want to take that up, or if somebody can say,
wonderful.
How do we talk about notice period? So somebody's saying like, okay, they're already working, and if they get they're on the notice period, and now suddenly a company says join tomorrow, what should we do about that? Right. So I think this will be informative. Yeah.
All right. So great question. And when people finish the bootcamp at Edyst and the companies which we're working with say that, hey, give us 20 people we want to interview and we want to pick up 10 people from that batch. When they look at the resume, one of the things they're going to give a lot of importance to is that somebody is a fresher fresh out of college who can join tomorrow, or somebody who has some experience who needs to do a notice period. So one of the things as a part of the interview preparation part, we'll say that how to write your resume, how to write that. So one of the things I strongly recommend, especially if you're going through the boot camp route and so on and so forth, please write that currently working at so and so, and this is my role, and that's where you get your additional stars, right? The brownie points. You're currently a practitioner, and says my notice period is 1 month or 2 months, and I don't think it's going to be a disqualification. In fact, you are worried about the notice period. I'm looking at the positive that you're a working professional in the other company. I'm very sure that the companies which we are working with would want to have somebody with experience, and they'll be willing to wait for 30 days or 40 days or 45 days or so on and so forth. So don't worry too much on the notice period at this point of time. You and I as a team should work along with Devang and Aneeq to make sure that you become the best front-end developer, and you're on top of your batch. And when you sit for interviews, you're actually able to crack through the interviews. So that should what your focus be on. Don't worry too much about the notice period. All right. Aneeq, anything from your side as part
Yeah,
of
so last but not least, remember everybody, we are taking this as an investment in you. We want to invest in you, and what investment means is, you're not there yet. We'll invest in you, we'll help you grow, and then when you grow, we both win. That's the point of success fee. So come in here with the best intentions that you want to really learn and grow. Sign up right away. The deadline is pretty close. I think from next Monday itself is starting the classes, so please do sign up right away. We have limited seats, more around 50% of the seats already taken up, right? We just have a few seats remaining, so please go ahead and sign up. And remember, we are helping you learn things. Learning, with, as Devang was saying, it'll never go to waste. It's something that you're going to get a lot of skills on, and we are as invested in this as you are. We want to help you succeed. So I can't wait to start this batch with you. I'm really looking forward to it. So wishing you guys all the best. Devang, over to you.
So Devang, two things for you. One, in fact, let's start with the first one. So tell us, whenever I speak to you, I learn something and I go back charged up. So anything interesting you're reading, you're watching, anything which you're doing on Netflix or Amazon, or any books you read or blogs you came about. And of course, I want you to end with some piece of advice for young people wanting to become professionals.
Okay, sure. So as of now, I'm currently focusing on Facebook Hacker Curve, and the qualification round has just ended. So I was able to solve 4 out of 5 questions. One test case failed in last, otherwise I would be in the top 5 in India. Otherwise, I'm still in the top 50, so that's one thing. And coming to about what I'm reading right now, I love reading. I'm a very avid reader. So I'm reading The Atomic Habits. I'm sure pretty much of you will know about. It's a really good book. It's halfway finished, but due to this competitions, I'm focusing more on it. So I will be continuing that part. Now, coming to the end part, the parting advice, one thing I would like to share is I recently read that a quote from J.K. Rowling. She is a very, very popular, right? She's a very popular author. She has written this Harry Potter series. The complete, all of you movies have been based on. So there's a very good quote that she has written, like, if you are not enjoying reading, you have not found the right book. And it's such a beautiful quote in itself. If you are not enjoying reading, you have not found the right book. Similarly, it goes for programming. If you are not enjoying programming, you have not found the right mentor. And that's the best thing I can tell you as in myself, right? So the mentors I have got coming absolutely nowhere from the programming background, getting so much into the programming background. The mentorship piece is very, very important. You can be very hardworking, you can be very good learner, but if you don't find the right mentor and you're not enjoying programming, then there is a mismatch. And that missing piece is a mentor that can find you. And I think it's been more than 4 months now that I've been associated with Edyst. And all the mentors, including Aneek, Abhinandan, and all of the mentors, Anand, that I have that I recently got chat with. So these are really good mentors. And I think this is the missing piece that you need. And if you just follow what they are telling you or what questions they are specifically answering you in your interview experience, that's going to be really helpful. I get a lot of DMs on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn. Some of my I get mails as well that I got placed at this. Your webinar was very helpful. The kind of questions how to prepare for interview was very helpful. There's so many coming up at Edyst as well, right? So this is something really helpful. I think that mentor missing part is something that you get at the Edyst. I will not talk about other organizations. I don't know about other organizations, but this is something that I really value about Edyst. That mentors are much focused on creating individual success rather than making business model, right? See, if you see the course price, 999, it's nothing much. But these mentors that you're getting, these are top of the qualities in the world. And that's what you're getting for such a low price because they really care and they really want you to get a job. They really want you to succeed. So I don't think any other organization can help you with that. So that's the best thing according to me.
Thank you so much, Devang, for a lot of inspiration and putting in that impetus which is needed for students to succeed. Thanks a lot, Aneeq, and a big thank you from everybody at Team Edyst. And we are really, really looking forward to starting this batch. And Aneeq was very, very clear from day one that we should have a batch which is limited so that we can give the kind of attention which every student would get. And it's just not teaching something. We want to sit with you on the projects as well, give you feedback on the projects which you develop and deploy, and so on and so forth. So really looking forward. Good vibes. Thanks, Varun, and thanks, Avijit, and thanks everybody. And please do pass on this good word and the opportunity which you have with Edyst to really jumpstart your career. And stay safe, stay healthy, take care of your loved ones, and we look forward to being interacting with you on the bootcamp.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And please, as usual, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and let us know in the comments below what else. If you have any other questions, if you're watching this offline, please let us know in the comments below. And shout out to our new social media manager, Saurabh. He is doing a good job. He put this all together. So a good shout out to him. If you like this kind of webinar and everything, do let us do congratulate Saurabh in the comments as well. He's doing a good job too. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. And yeah, we'll end up here. Thank you so much. See you all later. Thank you.